Greetings, ghouls and girls, and a very warm welcome back to Goth in Cape Town. I'm Ineza.
I'm Max, and hello Gochas to all the South Africans out there.
Okay, and today we've got a very special guest in the studio with us. I'd like to welcome Patrick from Metal4Africa, the big beard. Thanks so much for joining us.
Awesome to be here, thank you.
Yeah, great.
So, we wanted to find out what, why, where, and what is Metal4Africa?
Straight to the punch, eh?
Straight to the punch.
Yeah, sure. All right. Well, I think, for a lot of people who are in the alternative and metal community based in Cape Town, like Metal4Africa's almost become like a household name. But I think nationally we also have quite a nice footprint because, a lot of people believe that we're actually an events company, but we're not.
Oh,
we're actually a news website.
Oh, nice.
So, like, our primary reason to exist is to actually have a website which talks about what's happening in South African and at times the broader African metal community.
Okay.
So, but because we do events and for whatever reason we seem to be quite good at that, like people believe that we are an events company, but we're not.
So it's a Summerfest and the Winterfest.
Yes, yeah, and those take place in Cape Town, which is why we're well known here.
Cool.
But in terms of our national footprint, it's mostly because people follow us for news.
And for a lot of people who don't know what Metal4Africa is, it's actually a get-together of an alternative group of people listening to amazing music and having vendors at the venue with food, clothing, accessories, and a whole bunch of other cool goodies.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, so we call it a festival, which over the years some people have criticized because they say, oh, but it's not a weekend, it's not camping, blah, 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 blah. But to us, we do believe it's a festival because
It is a festival, because it's fun.
Yeah, and it's not just a live music concert. It might have started out being just a live music concert, but as we've done it over the years, which I think we're in year number 13 or 14 now.
Wow.
Like our first show was 2007, so work it out. And we've been doing it twice a year since, but it's evolved to be so much more than just a concert. So yeah, we do believe it can be called a festival because it is festive in character.
No,
when people arrive there, it's like the live music is actually the last thing they see, just because of how the venue is laid out.
That's right, because it's normally at Metro now.
Yeah. So when you arrive, you come in and you see the stalls, you see the merch tent, you see the like chill area, the food, all that
And
stuff.
you'll see us there too.
Yes. And as you move through the venue, then you get to the DJs and eventually you get to the bands. So, it's a space where people move around a lot and it's very sociable. So for us, our sort of tagline has become Summerfest or Winterfest, a place for friendship and metal. Because to us, that's what it is. It's not a concert per se.
Yeah.
It's a place for friendship and metal.
And there really is a lovely vibe.
Yeah, we've been there twice when it comes to what we've been doing there as Goth Emporium. And for us going there normally, it's amazing. We've been going for the last 6 years? Yeah, I've been there for 6 years already. I've been following Metal4Africa. And they are amazing. I mean, the party is, you can't explain, you have to be there to understand what I'm saying. It's more of, it's not just going into a club and then it's over. This is more, you walk in, you see all these people, you meet, you chat, you make new friendship, you connect, you meet amazing people like them. And if you meet the board of people what puts this all together, you'll understand what I mean. They are loving, caring, and very sweet people. And I can see this in Metal4Africa. It's really warm and welcoming.
I'll never forget the first time we walked through the doors. I was just like, where have all these people been all my life?
Yeah.
My family, my tribe. I remember.
But I think for a lot of us, that's kind of the sensation we get, and I suppose from an organizational point of view, that's the sensation we try to promote.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people, when we see them, or when they see each other at a Summerfest or Winterfest, they always say it feels like a family reunion.
It does.
You know, because it's
It
like
really does.
life gets so chaotic, everyone's working, everyone's under strain and pressure. But this one date every 6 months for the last 13 odd years.
It actually
It's
makes you like forget about everything and just concentrate on that.
And then, you know, the people come together and it's like, yeah, you might have seen this person and that person somewhere in between. But there's so many people who you literally haven't seen in 6 months' time that like now you reconnect with. So there's always that feeling of celebration. And I think that's really what we like to focus on. That's why a place for first friendship,
Yeah.
then metal.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, if you still keep on watching us, you'll be seeing the pictures about now. Okay, then now we're gonna say to you, whoever ever wants to come and watch us and see what Metal4Africa is, whenever we're gonna get back to it, and whenever can we get started with again? Do you have a clue where yet?
No idea.
Not yet. So that might be online again.
Yeah.
So we've tried it, we've loved it, and we're still working on it.
Well, I can tell you a lot about what we have done now and
Yes.
how it's influenced our way of thinking.
Mm.
You know, because I mean, we've become very, how do we say? We've become very entrenched in what we do, how we do it. We've developed a sort of like a values system, and you know that works. And there's that saying: "If it ain't broke, don't fix it."
Yes.
But for us, when it first became apparent that we weren't going to be able to do
Metal4Africa.
a festival that people can come and gather
It was
together.
horrible. It was horrible.
But that realization sank in, and it's like, we're gonna have to cancel.
No.
And like after like hearing those words, it's like no,
No. Not gonna
It's
unacceptable.
like out of the abyss cancel.
And it's like we became aware very quickly that, but we need to do this online, whatever that means. We had no idea how. But once we had made the decision that we're going to, then it's like
began.
now the machinery starts ticking in the brain.
And we did it, and it actually was fun.
Yeah.
We had, yes, there
Well,
was a
for
lot
us,
of,
maybe not so much for
there
you.
was a lot of
No,
crashes
it was
and
hectic.
for figuring out stuff how to do it. But you know what?
Yeah.
We did it,
Yeah.
and the people enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And what was
Yeah.
amazing to me was that people who joined in the beginning were still there at the end of the show.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
incredible,
Because the
sport.
show was supposed to only be 6 hours, but
Yes.
it ended up being like 7.5 because of the oopsies along the way.
Yeah.
And it was great fun.
But I think that was our recipe to actually have it succeed. Was, you know, as far as online events go, you know, like the internet is full of them at the moment, and most of them take the form of basically just like you're over there in your home and you watch,
Yeah.
and we present. But we put a very strong focus on keeping it social,
So you can actually join in.
which was why we used Discord
Yes.
as well as Twitch. So people who were a bit like Discord, it's a bit intimidating. They could watch the Twitch stream, the
relate.
way that most other events are being done.
Yes.
But we put a huge emphasis on join us on Discord, and like really join us. Come and sit around a table, you know, like a virtual table. Come and chat. Come and visit the stalls. So like each stall, like you guys have your own chat space and so on and so forth. So we tried to simulate that feeling one would get from attending a physical event, but in a
And that actually
digital
works
space.
because we've had each stallholder had its own section where people can come and join in, chat to them, ask them about new specials, all the little different things, go speak to the band members, and then watch bands actually doing it live on live stream. So that was brilliant. So it literally felt like you were there. And it was actually quite a lot of fun. We had even people from America watching us and actually joining in, and that was fun. That was great fun.
Well, I think this was another part that we learned about where we are at the moment in terms of what's happening in the world right now, but also where we are in terms of technology and opportunity. Opportunities we've actually failed to grasp prior to COVID-19,
Yes.
which perhaps we could have or should have put more effort into. But we had a much greater national reach. And I think being a festival that focuses specifically on South Africa and, when we can, neighboring
Yes.
African states, like we've realized, but previously we always had the economic challenge.
Yes.
You can't bring in bands from outside of the South African territory. It's just too expensive.
Way too expensive.
But with the
We
online
know.
concept, we saw so much sign in from people in other parts of the country, and even people from abroad, as you guys mentioned. But
Yeah.
I noticed a lot of expats, South Africans who have since left the country and now live elsewhere. But they were coming and checking it out too, and we got
That's
so many
awesome.
good compliments from them because they felt so disconnected from their
yeah.
home and their scene and their community. And for the first time, in some of their case, the first time in years, they could actually reconnect in a more meaningful way. So we've kind of realized that moving forward, we've got a lot to think about.
Yes. Yes, we do.
You know, it's like everyone is asking, when are we going to go back to the traditional format of the festival? And that's the part I really can't answer at this time.
I
Yes,
don't think
because
anyone
of the
can.
Mm.
lockdowns.
Yeah.
And we actually hearing we might be going to level 1. Might.
Yeah.
We don't know yet, but it's a might.
But even that still denies us
Yes.
the possibility of doing
festivals again.
Yeah.
Because of the amount of people you can put together.
Yes.
exactly.
But I will say one thing I did love about the whole thing on Discord was the photo booth. It was so fun. There were so many really cool images in there.
Yeah.
We even put one
Yeah,
in there.
it's literally you must take a picture of the silliest thing you can do and just put it on there for fun.
Yeah.
And it was great fun.
Yeah. No, it was. But yeah, so for Summerfest, we realizing that, well, we're going to have to do a more or less repeat of what we did for Winterfest.
Okay.
But because two factors which we're very aware of is, number one, even if we can legally do a festival on the 30th of January, I think financially
Nobody can.
the community is not
Yeah.
going to be recovered enough to be able to bankroll
Yeah.
what we normally do. It's just not going to be possible. Even chatting with some of the bands who we would like to work with, no one is untouched by this. And if we think about what it costs us to put on such an event, it's like we generally have a lot of confidence under normal circumstances that we'll meet our target, and we budget according to what we know are realistic numbers. And we set our price points and all that stuff. And each event that we've done previously has been informed by the information that we took from the last
Yeah.
event.
It's knowing how many vendors you would have, how many band members you will have, how many security you would have,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
also and so
And
forth.
what people were comfortable paying and how many people would attend.
Absolutely.
Whereas for doing a physical festival again, suddenly that data means nothing to us.
No, for sure.
So for Summerfest, we're feeling, even if it is legal at that time, doing a festival is too risky. The other implication is how people feel about it, let's say, psychologically. You know, we have noticed that whilst some people are feeling very relaxed about COVID at this time, and you know, bars are allowed to trade, and we see people going out, you know, it's a good sign. But I personally know lots of people who are still very cautious.
Hiding.
For a lot of people, they might not feel comfortable, even if they do have the money, they might not feel comfortable actually coming and attending. So for Summerfest, we're gonna look at repeating more or less what we've done for Winterfest in terms of the online side of it. However, that being said, bars are allowed to trade now. The way we're thinking, and yeah, like I may have said, I can't say this with any kind of authority because it's still planning stage. But what we're thinking is we would like to have some physical events set up, just much smaller scale. So we'll do the main online part, but then we can work in partnership with various venues, smaller venues.
So I have mini Metal4Africas.
Watch parties.
Oh, watch parties.
So the venues need to have an internet connection. They need to have a TV screen that's connected to a internet capable device.
Yeah.
You know, be it a laptop or
Media
a smart
player
box or
or something,
whatever. But the point here is to allow people the opportunity to actually come and congregate again, but as part of the Summerfest celebration. So at this stage we have already partnered with 3 venues who are committed to this plan, and that's Metronome, where the actual festival does happen. But at this stage they can only commit to allowing 50 people.
Yeah, basic.
We've got a commitment from Trenchtown in Observatory, and we've got a commitment from Ellington's in Belleville. So what we're doing is
150 people altogether.
Yeah. So we're working to set up a watch party network, but we're talking to people in Bloem, Durban, and in Gauteng. So the idea is that come Summerfest, we have quite properly a national watch party network that people from all over the country can come and physically participate in. But like I say, it's still a work in progress. It's still very conceptual.
That sounds like fun.
I think
it's
so.
going to be fun.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
So
that might just
a
work
new
for
way
nicely.
forward for Metal4Africa.
Yeah. But I think in terms of the longer term future, festivals. Yes, we want our festival.
I promise you arrive at about 12 in the morning. This is our pre-set up. you arrive there at about 12 in the morning, and you leave at about 3 the next morning, and you don't want to go home.
Yeah.
You literally want to stay there.
For a venue staff, we're like, go home. Go home now.
Is that for planning reasons that you have a Winterfest and a Summerfest, that you don't do an Autumnfest and a Springfest?
We've been asked so many times about that.
I can imagine.
There's 2 factors at play there, and the first one is workload.
Yes.
You know, it takes
a lot of
6
time.
months to do this the way we do it.
Professionally, set up.
We could do more if we wanted to, but I feel that the quality of the events would not be the same if we were doing it as frequently.
Yeah.
And I feel also for the public point of view, it's not to say that people wouldn't want to attend, but let's face it, a party like that, even though we keep the cost of admission quite low, you know, we don't charge more than we really have to, but it still accumulates to a large amount of money for people to have to part with on the night of.
Exactly.
And part of our strategy with keeping the cost low is that we make it accessible to, regardless what your income status is,
Students,
it's not
you name it.
too far out of reach. If we were doing it 4 times a year, I think it'll be too much pressure
expensive
on the public wallet
Yeah.
to make it as cool and as well supported.
And it's more like it's like fine caviar. You can't wait to see it. You can't wait to get to it.
Yeah.
And you'll wait that 6 months to get to that caviar.
Yes.
Exclusivity.
So we rather create that mindset of commitment from ourselves to do it properly, and from the public to come and enjoy it with us.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yes, it makes sense. I always wondered
Brilliant.
about that.
Yeah.
Now you heard it here.
Yeah. And I think
hopefully you won't have to repeat it so many times.
Yes. But I think another factor which I'm very aware of, you know, because as a musician who plays shows, and obviously we like to play more festival character shows when they do happen, like we wouldn't want to become too dominant in the nightlife space.
And tell us a bit about the True Believers. How did that all come about? Actually, that's a very good question.
So, yeah, that is a good question. I've been doing Metal4Africa since 2006. Not events, but as an idea. And the first event was 2007. And after a couple of years, this idea had gained momentum. And when an idea gains momentum, it also attracts people with more ideas. And sometimes not with ideas, sometimes just with a bit of drama too. And I don't mind a bit of drama, you know, I'm a fairly resilient person. You know, but the point I want to get to is it starts eating up a lot of your time.
Yes.
And your attention and your energy.
Yeah, because there's
be
a
it
lot of
physical
things you have to get
or
done.
emotional.
Yeah.
So what I found was by 2010, it was getting a bit too much to handle. And I needed a bit of a plan or a strategy to ensure the longevity of the idea. And in 2012, I was basically faced with a decision. I have to either pull the plug on Metal4Africa altogether and focus on my career, which was not a very great career to start out with, but you know, it was slipping.
Yes.
My ability to earn money to finance this idea was being compromised by the idea itself.
Okay, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, a very precarious situation. So that's where I kind of figured, you know, and during the years building up to 2012, I'd always been open to receiving help, voluntary help from members of the community. But what I did notice is it's a problematic model to rely on voluntary help only. But because often people are very quick to share their enthusiasm and they want to get involved and they want to help you. And you say, excellent, I appreciate that. But when the time comes that you call in that service, they are the ones who often realize, oh, we've bitten off more than we can chew.
Timing and circumstances.
Yeah. You know, something may have changed in their life. So it's not that I have anger. It's like they don't owe me that help, but they have pledged it, and I have come to call it in, and now they can't offer it. And I've perceived that there's a bit of guilt comes in there from those people.
So it makes you feel?
Not really. But because they feel guilty, they start to distance themselves.
Oh, understandable.
And to me, that was a very tragic, what do we call it? Like a very tragic byproduct of this situation. So my idea was like, well, how can I get people's help without actually imposing on their time? Well, what about a small amount of money each month? So that's when I set up True Believers, where people who genuinely want to help, but they know they can't always commit to a time. So slip us a 40 or 50 rand each month, debit order, easy. And that's worked. So it's not to say that it's been a huge like success, as in I could quit my job, because I now work part-time.
You can go retire in the Bahamas.
Yeah, no chance. But in terms of bread and butter, a lot of the costs of running Metal4Africa and a lot of costs of running me are taken care of through True Believer membership. Yeah.
Okay.
Fantastic.
It's bread and butter. It's not something that I could actually feasibly live off of.
And a big thank you to them.
You guys know who you are. And I think having that has ensured the future of Metal4Africa as an idea, and it's ensured that there's a workforce, at least one committed workforce, being me, who's never gonna betray that cause.
Understandable.
So we still rely on voluntary help, but the pressure is no longer on those people. It's on me, but I'm paid.
So you have to do it now.
Yeah.
It's like, I have to.
But it's like, can you ask for a better job?
No, for sure. For sure.
Because once again, it's something that you have a passion for and a love for. And when a person has a passion and that commitment to want to do something, that power behind it is just so much more magnified.
Exactly.
It was like when clients come to us and they always laugh and giggle when we explain to them, this is not just a job for us anymore. Because we enjoy what we do, it becomes a passion for us.
Exactly.
And they always leave here happier, and when they get home and they find a little surprise in their bags, they
Yeah.
go, holy crap.
Yeah.
And they don't understand we actually really enjoy what we do.
Yeah. But
When
I
we
think
make
this
stuff.
Spreading the joy.
Yeah. This is a really important part of what, for me at least, is the way we should engage this idea of community. Or what we're looking to do is keep the online part free, but then for fundraising, we'll do the shirts.
Yeah.
So
Cool
that's-
Metal4Africa
So
Yeah,
shirts.
that's an old
yeah.
shirt from, I think, Summerfest 2018, if I'm
Yes.
not mistaken. So, for Winterfest now, we even did the shirts super cheap. But for Summerfest, we're going to put them back to the normal price and use that as a bit of a fundraiser drive.
Income, yeah.
And then with our little satellite events, we charge a small cover charge. Not the 150 you would pay doing the festival, but maybe a $50. And the objective of the satellite events is obviously to let people socialize physically, but it needs to be made known to the public that this is important to fundraise to make the event possible in the first
Because
place.
we actually also came up with a little idea for you guys to make a little bit of extra.
Uh-huh.
We're going to be donating you 2,000 Rand voucher.
Oh, where?
But that voucher doesn't just come as a 2,000 Rand voucher. It comes as a raffle.
Okay.
So anyone who buys a ticket
Ah,
and all that money comes to
brilliant.
Metal4Africa.
That's very generous, thank you.
So we thought that will give you a little bit of extra help.
A little bit of wind in the sails.
Exactly.
To drive this
And
vessel
everybody
forward,
will
yeah.
want that 2,000 Rand.
Yeah.
Because that will give you a nice custom-made body harness or a lovely corset belt
Yeah.
and a couple of extra odds and ends.
Dresses, bracelets.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the nice thing is with that is the only way you can get back to community is giving.
Give back,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And the only way I know I can give back is
What we
doing
do.
it my way.
Use your craft.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I like what I do, as you've noticed.
Oh, well, thank you. That's amazing.
But yeah, I think that is the one thing we wanted to do to show you guys we are willing and we are keen
Yeah.
for being part of the family.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's very generous, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to do it as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
always meet, whenever we do these sorts of things, we always just meet the most amazing people.
And
Although-
we've been now literally over the last 2 years. We've been going to my apologies, not festivals, little clubs and little parties here and there,
Yeah.
goth parties. And we just pop up a table and
Yeah.
people just come over and look through your stuff and the most coolest faces you will find when you see them actually just chatting and
Yeah.
wanting to be around you the whole time, and that's so cool
Yeah.
because you feel so like okay. And I'm one of those people. I'm a
It
chatter.
inspires you to
I'm
do
a
more.
chatter. So if you meet me at a party, you'll understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think it's a matter of being energized.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think this is why we need the physical social interaction so much.
You need it.
Which prior to COVID-19, maybe we haven't given quite as much thought to, because it's just been so natural.
Yeah.
Whereas for Winterfest, we were looking at this and it's like, this was a lot of fun for those who were tech savvy enough
Yeah.
to make the best of it. But there were a lot of people who couldn't.
I know, but 2 or 3
navigate
people,
that.
yeah. But we're struggling.
And-
We struggled.
Yeah, well,
As you know, we were
hours.
even we did. And I think the point is we need to get back to some kind of physical component as soon as possible, even if it's not the full-scale festival.
Yeah.
But so that we can feel energized from each other, from the interactions we enjoy having with each other. And I think people who engage these things with the genuine passion, not monetary reasons, not ego reasons, genuine passion, that's where the rest of us get our
Spark.
our spark
the
from.
dynamo. Just to
Yeah.
keep it
Yeah.
going,
That spark just to keep on moving.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, I've noticed when I walked into a lot of gothic parties, the atmosphere is completely different to then walking into any club or any place at any time. Because the energy level there and the energy level the other. I mean, you would know if you walk into a club, you normally feel or hyped up or drop down. But when you walk into a goth party, you always feel like, oh, welcome.
Yeah.
Family.
And I don't know, it's like you don't want to leave.
Yeah.
You go in there and you just like, can't it just keep you all? But okay, guys, I'm going to say thank you for watching.
Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much to you, Patrick, for coming in.
What a
spending some
pleasure.
time with
What a
us,
pleasure. It
and
felt like it was over like that.
So remember, please subscribe, like,
and we'll see you
and
next
follow
time.
us. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.